Hi everyone, welcome to my living room. My name is Kim Fisher and I'm the owner, director of Lotus Life Yoga Center. I know many of you that are participating in the cleanse. Some of you have just recently joined Lotus Life and some of you have been practicing with me for years. So I just at least wanted to introduce myself so you could remember who I was. And please, when you see me in the studio, come up to me, say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm cleansing. These are the questions I have. Feel free to approach me when you see me at the studio. Sometimes it's tricky to answer clearly through email, so you can call me or, like I said, ask questions at the studio. But by now, you have started a cleanse. You really started a few days ago whenever you started to switch into vegetarian diet and introduce hot water, warm water with lemon, cutting back, and hopefully now completely eradicating caffeine, which is very hard, I understand, and also eradicating alcohol as well. And I'll get into in a little bit why that's important to remove those two. But today was the first day for khichdi, so I hope you find it as yummy as I do. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, by day 3, day 4, khichdi, not so yummy sometimes. It gets a little boring. So that's why I want you to look at that chart that I emailed to you. The very first email had a list of foods that you should eat. Those are not necessary, to clarify that chart, that's not necessarily a cleanse chart. Those listed are foods that are appropriate for the Vata season, which is the Ayurvedic term for the season we are now in, that we just entered the fall, and then into the winter season, Vata. So the foods that you see, the spices, the beverage suggestions, things like that, we won't necessarily be eating all of them. For example, it mentions a moderation of alcohol and caffeine, but for this cleanse, we're being a little more strict. And some of the other fruits you want to avoid. Just look at the vegetable section. There's still even a couple veggies on there that aren't very cleansing, but they're very good for you. And like I mentioned a little bit ago, by day 3, day 4, the khichdi gets a little bit boring, so you want to be able to put something in it, some variety. And also it's another helpful way to get your vitamins and minerals. Khichdi is a complete protein. You have 2 incomplete proteins. You have the mung bean, the dal, and the basmati rice. Both together, 2 incompletes make 1 complete protein. And then if you add veggies, you are also receiving extra nutrients on top of that. So no worries. This diet will not harm you. But I will say though, on a side note, if you have diabetes or suspect that you do, please make sure you consult your physician beforehand because of the high glycemic index within the basmati rice. That will really increase your blood sugar levels for the time being. So you want to be mindful of that also. Diabetes, yes, definitely be mindful of that, but if you don't have diabetes, still watch for that. You want this cleanse to be enjoyable. When we cleanse, we ask the body to digest one thing. That's why we keep to the khichdi diet. It's one type of meal several times a day. Some of you are eating it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Others are doing the vegetable soup for breakfast or porridge or oatmeal for breakfast. That's fine. But the idea is to keep it simple. Your body, your intestinal tract loves simple foods. It gets a little confused. It gets a little overwhelmed when we throw pasta and then eggplant, and maybe then we have some rice, and then maybe we have pudding for dessert, etc. When the diet is varied, the stomach has to really, work harder, so creating the right enzymes, messages to the brain, etc., for all the different types of food. And it can actually slow down the assimilation of food and the delivery of nutrients to the body. Not to say that eating a variety of food is bad in any way, but it's simpler, it's easier for the body. And the idea is that this body, this machine, has been working very hard for you ever since you were born, even before that, in utero, yes. So it's time we give it a little rest. So take it easy. Give yourself permission. Take it easy this week that we're cleansing. Do a little bit more meditation. Do a little bit more inward reflecting. Slow down a little bit. Do slower yoga, restorative yoga, meditation, etc. Go for long walks. Try to avoid intense workouts, running, hot yoga, hot power yoga, just vinyasa altogether. Unless your energy levels are where they should be, you feel fine, then there's no reason why you can't do your normal practice. But I would highly recommend avoiding it. It goes right along with what I mentioned earlier, that your body has been working hard for you, ever since you've been born. We can create habits. We can create these sort of unhealthy habits to food. We can also create unhealthy habits to exercise. This cleanse is designed, the whole reason to cleanse is to slow down and look inward. What am I putting in my body? How am I exercising? What thoughts do I have? So this is not, like I mentioned in one of my emails, we don't just cleanse the body. We cleanse and detox the mind as well. So going back to what I mentioned, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but the cleanse, the food, simple. Okay? Easier to digest. It gives the digestive system a break. And inside that khichdi, there is ghee, yummy ghee, clarified butter, which acts as a lubricant. It also removes toxins from the body. A little bit more about Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a sister science of yoga. It's the science of life. And yogis and the rishis, way back in the day, 5,000 years ago or so, decided, hey, we need a system. We need a way of studying what's going on in the environment and how it affects the body. And they notice correlations between the seasons, what was growing, foods and vegetables and grains that were growing, the quality of the soil, the quality of the air. Was it dry? Was it humid? Was it warm? Was it cold? Etc. And they noticed a correlation with how it affected their bodies. The key phrase you should remember is like increases like. So if it's dry outside, it might become dry inside me. If it's cold outside, I need to make sure that I'm eating warming foods, because I can also become cold inside. And that's literally and figuratively as well. We want to watch for those things. So right now, I mentioned earlier, we are entering in the Vata season. Vata is represented by the element wind. Wind can be cold this time of year, yes, and can be drying. It is drying. Look at your skin right now. It needs a little bit extra moisture, right? We're putting on a little bit more lotion. And that is the reason for the self-massage, the Abhyanga. There was a video that I sent out to you earlier called the Self-Abhi, was abbreviated version for Abhyanga. Using the sesame oil, make sure you warm it up. Inside, the bathroom, make sure the bathroom is warm, and give yourself a nice caring massage. It's a really good moment to connect with yourself, to nourish yourself. The skin is the largest organ in the body. It's very important to take care of it. So we do sesame oil, typically in the winter because it's warming, and we do coconut oil in the summertime because it's cooling. Okay? So we look at the skin, the external body, and we see the skin is a little bit drier, so we begin to do the self-massage with sesame oil. But we also need to look at what's going on inside the body. And although we can't just open us up, look inside, we can't see what's going on, we have to pay attention to what the body is telling us, the signs of drying out. Constipation, gas, and burping. Okay? A little bit lethargic, tired, brain fog, can't come up with things quite as quickly, etc. These things are showing us that our vata is out of balance. It's too high. There's too much vata in the body. Vata constitution is off balance, okay? So what's happening is that the season is affecting our bodies, producing too much wind, and it's drying us out, okay? So we want to do the opposite. We want to add foods that are warming and lubricating to the digestive tract to make sure things keep running smoothly, end to end. You know what I mean? Everything is good. So this cleanse, the khichdi with the ghee, with the self-massage, the abhyanga oil with sesame oil. And I'll get to the neti pot in just a moment. Those things all together work on the outside of the body and the inside of the body to make sure that we are healthy. And we will survive this winter, the fall and winter, with no colds, no sickness. As you massage the body, we are moving the lymph fluid around. And the lymph fluid has those little white ninjas of the body, the white blood cells that do their work. They go in and they scavenge out the free radicals, and they kick the bacteria and viruses' butts and get them right out of the body so that you're healthy. Your lymph fluid does not have a pump like, say, the heart does for your blood, the circulatory system. Your lymph fluid relies on skeletal muscle contraction. Okay, so that means we have to move in order to move the lymph fluid, that healthy fluid in the body. Okay, so that's why the self-massage is important, but also maintaining a regular daily yoga practice. Nothing too crazy, it's gentle movement, gentle breathing. Okay, don't forget we can go for walks this time of year. You just want to make sure that you wear a scarf, that you wear a hat, gloves. Keep yourself warm. Keep the ears, the neck, the heart. Keep yourself warm. Remember, we don't want to dry out. We don't want to get cold, okay? Neti pot. Neti pot, yay, it's fantastic. I love it. Anytime I feel as though I'm getting a cold, I'll do it just about every other day in my normal routine. When I know it's turning into the Vata season, I do it every day with nausea oil. Okay, so neti pot, warm water, 1 teaspoon of salt. You know, if you have the Himalayan Institute salt, there is already measured out little cups for you. Scoop in there warm water. There's lots of neti demonstrations, including probably a little picture card in your box that you receive. Just follow those directions. After you're done cleansing with the neti in the water, you want to use some nausea oil. Lean back, drop, drop in each nose, sniff, sniff, kind of rub it around, gentle, gentle on the nose. Get it right into the sinuses. And you might feel a little drop in the back of your throat. The nausea oil works on the sinuses the same way that the sesame oil works on your skin. It lubricates. So your nose is a really fascinating thing. Nose and intestinal tract all have thin epithelial lining. And some of the cells that line the epithelial walls are called mucosal cells. And mucosal cells secrete, you can guess what, mucus. And their jobs are say, okay, it's dry in here, buddies. We got to secrete some mucus to lubricate and help move things along, dust and debris. Well, what can happen is that if you're too dry, an excess of mucus can become secreted in nasal passages, the throat, and lungs, which end up becoming a little petri dish, a potential breeding ground for bacteria. So when your sinuses are clogged, it doesn't necessarily mean that right now you are sick. It means that you could become sick. Nasal irrigation system, neti pot, is necessary at that point, okay? If you are flushing your nose every day and using the nausea oil, there's no need for the mucosal cells to squirt or do their job to secrete mucus, right? They're kind of resting. They don't need to do their job. So when you don't have mucus, there's nothing to capture dust and debris in excess, creating bacteria buildup, leading to a cold. Okay, so this cleanse, the abhyanga, the gentle yoga, breathing, pranayama, meditation, neti pot, nausea oil, these are all tools, proactive tools to prevent illness and sickness in the body, mind, and soul. That's what this is. That's what this is all about. And I'm so happy and thankful that you're taking this journey with me. I'm going to conclude here and just say thank you once again. If you have any further questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Call me, email me, stop me in the studio, say, hey, I've got a quick question for you, Kim, and I will do my best to answer, okay? The next video you will receive from me is a meditation. It will be a guided meditation of about 20-25 minutes long. So look for that in your inbox coming up probably tomorrow, okay? Also, as far as yoga classes go, practice often. Come to the beginner level 1, come to the gentle restorative tonight even with Roxanne at 7:30. You know, once again, slow down. Use this as an excuse, giving yourself permission to really slow down and take time for you. We don't do enough of that. We really don't. And as a result, we suffer. So this cleanse is made to lighten you, to give you energy, to give you health and vitality, to clear out cobwebs, physical and mental cobwebs, okay? And you will feel that way, I promise, once you're done. So hopefully I didn't speak too much and confuse you on any topics. If you need to, play this video again, jot down some notes, listen to some of the suggestions and the whys so that you have a good understanding. Google Ayurveda. I gave you some links in some earlier emails. Look up and do some research. Knowledge is power. You know, do your own research on this as well. Let it make sense to you. You know, I'm giving you my interpretation and what I have learned, what I have gathered, and what I love from Ayurveda and yoga. But there might be a whole other chapter that, wow, you know, Kim didn't talk about this. But look at all this information. It's a very old science. There's so much to learn. Okay. So happy cleansing. Keep going. This is good for you. That's your mantra. This is good for you. Okay? Namaste. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.